I think people get tattooed because, there's not a lot of real stuff left in the world. And it's all like a 24-hour news cycle. Nothing lasts. With tattooing, it's blood, it's pain, it's permanence. When you get that needle in your skin for the first time, you have to be there. You can't just call it in. You have to sit there and take the pain. And then sit there and heal it. And then you gotta live with the consequences of your action.
Hey guys, welcome to the East West Podcast today on sunny Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Look, I'm in a good mood today, and I want to start off the podcast with thanking the people that wrote me messages, took the time to DM me, write me emails, and thanking me for the influence and the inspiration that I've given them. Not only in their tattoo career, but I had clients that, not my clients, but tattoo clients, they messaged me and thanked me for helping them on the right path to go with the artist they really wanted, and not to just go for who's cheap and who's fast and all this sort of stuff. So it makes me happy that my message is getting out there and that I'm having a positive influence on people, because that's kind of why I do this. I'm trying to make tattooing better. I'm just one person. This is just something I do in my part-time, but if I can influence just one or two people and make tattooing better for them, then it's all worth it, right? So I want a big shout out for those guys, about 3 or 4 of them this week. And it's cool. I had a bunch of tattooers message me and, thank me for being, someone they can look to for, I don't know, like I'm not a guru, man. I'm happy to mentor people. Like I have my apprentices who I mentor, and I'm happy to mentor anyone out there that wants to be mentored in this kind of stuff. Like I've said, I'm not going to teach you how to tattoo, but I will teach you how to be a tattooer, if that makes sense, right? Give you the morals and the right mindset to be a good person and a good tattooer, right? All these things, So with that, I want to talk a little bit about why my podcast is named East to West. Years ago, I made a documentary about my career in the shop and stuff called East to West, right? And it was my sort of, vision is that in Eastern, in the Eastern way of things, like in Japan and China and Southeast Asia, we look at the East, being a Westerner, I'm from Canada originally. I lived in Europe, America, Canada, and now in Australia. I'm a Westerner. I'm 100% white. And when you look at the East and you think of the sacred East and the teachings and the mystery, and there's all sorts of spirituality that's, adjacent to Eastern philosophies and all this kind of stuff that we don't necessarily have in the West, right? So for people with a certain mindedness or temperament, they look to that, like myself, and it's attractive, right? I like the mystery. I like the sacredness. I like having to dig and find hidden meanings and stuff. And that's one of the reasons that I like Japanese tattooing. And a lot of you guys like that as well. I'm assuming for the same reason, right? Because there's a deeper meaning to it. You have to penetrate below the surface and find the little stories and the little Easter eggs in there and stuff. And so I thought with the podcast name or the documentary name, East to West, was to revere and to, look at that Eastern philosophy and that Eastern mentality, and then mesh that with, our Western view of things, some things that we do different than them. And, I think it's a good mix, right? And so that's kind of how it came to be. And it's still like, I'm not Japanese, but my whole life revolves around Japanese tattooing and Japanese artwork. And I try to do my best to, live up to that, right? So in the Western sense, my shop is, probably maybe a little more Western than Japanese. I mean, most of the shops in Japan, apart from the big ones in some of the big cities, are just one tattoo master in a little apartment, tattooing on the floor by himself or with an apprentice helping him. And that's the very Japanese way. In tattooing in Thailand is at the temples with the monks, and China's tattooing is a little different now. I mean, they have a very young tattoo culture, right? But I don't think they're very different than both. They have these giant super shops, they have tattoo schools, So I don't know that we look to China necessarily for that Eastern spiritualism when it comes to tattooing, right? So what I was thinking, we've talked a lot about how to, in the past, how to, find each other online or have a little group of like-minded people that are on the same page. And I thought just something simple for now is to use the hashtag in your posts, east to west, hashtag east to west. And if you're a client, you can just look that up. Maybe, depending on how long it takes to spread, maybe you'll find some artists in your area using that hashtag and maybe get you on the right track to finding an artist that upholds the values that I talk about. And if you're an artist or you're a tattooer, you can use that hashtag to find a little community in your area of people that have the same values, right? So what are the values, right? What are the values that I talk about? Well, look, to keep it simple, I've written them down here so I don't forget any, okay? But I think there's 10 of them, and we'll just go over them slowly. And I think this is just a good start. Just, the things that I think are important with tattooing and the guidelines that I've followed in the last 30 years to sort of keep me on the right track. Because sometimes it's easy to get off track, man. It's ego gets in the way, and pride and money, alcohol, women, fame, all these things can derail you, right? Greed is a fucking big one for a lot of people, right? They're very quick to sell out when they get given the chance. So these are the 10 things that I came up with as a start that I think are good guidelines to sort of keep you on the right track, right? And keep you true to the game and to be part of something bigger than yourself, which is, good real tattooing, right? Whether it's Japanese or some other classic style. So we'll start. I think the first most important thing is if you're going to be a tattooer is to be tattooed, right? You should at least aspire to be getting a bodysuit. You should be in the works of getting a bodysuit, right? It's important, right? And you shouldn't have any excuses for, I'm waiting. I hear it all the time, right? I hear it all the time. I'm going to wait for Horisumi to do my back, or I'm waiting for Philip Blue to do my sleeves. That's never going to fucking happen, dude, right? Go get tattooed. Don't make fucking excuses. Find someone whose work you like, either local, works with you, next state over, whatever. Go get tattooed, right? Invest in yourself, right? One of the things I learned when I started tattooing was, before I moved to Europe and I was in Canada, we always used to photocopy flash and, photocopy books, and we'd never buy the stuff, right? We were just bootlegging and pirating everything. And then I had this epiphany that how can I expect people to support me and buy into my work as an artist if I'm not doing it for other people, right? So you gotta pay it forward, so to speak, right? So I started buying originals of everything. Flash. I have a massive book collection, as you guys have probably seen in the past in some of my posts. So I've always invested back into what it is that I love, right? And tattooing is no different. If you love tattooing and you're in it for the right reasons, go get tattooed. Get that back piece, get those sleeves, get that bodysuit. It's important, I think, for the clients that you have visible tattoos so they can see that you believe in what you're doing, right? And also so you know what it feels like. So when someone's suffering on a 6-hour session on their back, you can console them, right? It's important. Second thing I would say is uphold the values of tattooing by being righteous. Don't do bad tattoos. Don't do stupid tattoos, and don't do tattoos that you know is going to cause the wearer harm or distress later in life, right? And obviously that's regional, it's artist discretion, but you know in your heart what's right. You don't want to be tattooing giant fucking job stoppers on an 18-year-old girl, right? That's not righteous. And if you're doing it just for the money, not righteous, right? So you know right from wrong. I know it's a job, right? But this isn't about the job. This is about doing the right thing and being a good person and a good tattooer and upholding the craft, because that stuff hurts the craft. You do stuff like that on young girls or on young guys, as an example, throat, hand, you're fucking them up for life, right? And that spreads. That whole family will shun tattoos. People will look at those people and they will hate tattoos. And that hurts tattooing. It takes the power away from tattooing, right? It's not a good thing. So don't do it, right? Does that make sense? Okay? I'm not saying don't do hand tattoos. I'm saying artist discretion, on the right person, do the right thing. Obviously, certain symbols and certain things, artist discretion. But if you feel in your heart it's not right, learn how to say no. Learn how to say no and live without the money, right? Important. And always do your best, right? No fucking excuses. No, fucking, I was out drinking last night, so I'm just going to whip it up super fast on the iPad. Didn't do my homework. No fucking, I didn't bring that book in. Take the fucking time. You put the stencil on and it's crooked and you're tired, wipe it off. Do it again, right? Because the most important thing is that you do your job properly and you try your hardest. You do your work to the best of your ability. And if you do that with every tattoo, you will watch yourself get better, and then you'll believe in yourself more, and then you'll get better and better. It becomes this positive feedback loop, right? Super fucking important. Every bad tattoo you do puts you back to ground zero. So put your effort into every tattoo that you do, right? Be a gatekeeper, right? Don't fucking teach unworthy people. Don't have 10 fucking apprentices just because you need someone to help out in the shop, right? Don't fucking post all your ink and needle groups and suppliers and all that in your fucking Instagram posts for likes and clicks, and maybe you'll get sent a free bottle of fucking ink, right? Keep some fucking secrets. Keep some magic about tattooing, some specialness. You don't have to post how to tattoo like me in every fucking Instagram post, right? Have a little bit of fucking mystery about yourself, right? A little bit of self-respect on your process and your secrets and your supplies creates your look. You don't need to tell everybody, right? There's no upside to that at all, right? Never sell out, ever. You know what selling out is, don't fucking do it, right? Don't sell out. That way you can live a good life, and then when you're old and retired, you can think back and you can live on the memories that you were a good person, right? You don't want to think back to all the fucked up shit you did, right? Don't prey on clients. Your clients are your clients, right? You don't prey on them sexually. You don't prey on them financially. You treat them well, because it ruins tattooing for everybody when you don't treat people good. Very important. Hold yourself to a high standard and be a role model to the younger people so they see what that means, right? And remember, you are only as good as your last tattoo, right? As I said before, right? You can think you're the fucking best. You do a fucked up tattoo, that's who you are. That's who you are. So every tattoo has to be the best of your ability, right? Take your fucking time and take every tattoo seriously. Even the little ones, even little fucking walk-in bangers. That's your work, right? So take it seriously. And ego and pride must be kept in check. Very important, right? Because they are your enemy. Stay humble. And you have to treat tattooing like a lady, not like a whore. I don't own tattooing. You don't own tattooing. Nobody out there owns tattooing, right? We're all taking part on our journey in life. We're all taking part in the sacred craft. We need to treat it good and leave it better than we found it, which is what I'm trying to do with these podcasts, is to leave tattooing better than I found it. So if you have the same attitude, we can make tattooing great again. And I know a lot of you messaged me about that. We want tattooing to be great again. So that's one way to do it, right? Leave it better than you found it. One thing that's always stuck with me since my early days of tattooing is, if you're good to tattooing and you follow rules like this and you treat tattooing good, tattooing will be good to you, right? Don't fucking sell out. Don't do the wrong thing. And you will not live the wrath of the tattoo gods. And they are real. I've seen so many people at the top of their game crash and burn because they colored outside the lines. So keep that in mind. Play by the unwritten rules and avoid the wrath of the tattoo gods. And as I mentioned before, inspire the younger generation. They're our hope, right? I'm old, man. I'm going to be 52 in a week, right? I'm an old tattooer. I've been tattooing for 30 years now. So the best I can do now is what I'm doing. I'm trying to inspire the younger generation. If you 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds, right, can follow my lead and push this narrative out and push this ideology out, we can keep tattooing good for another generation. So when you guys are 50, right, you can teach the younger generation, and you can set a good example along the way, which is super important, right? So that's my little manifesto. Hashtag East to West. And let's try to elevate tattooing a little bit, right? And separate the wheat from the chaff, from the, the anime's fucking they, them, fine line artists from the rest of us, as an example, right? All right, guys. Again, I love your comments. So leave a comment, DM, subscribe, follow, buy a t-shirt, fucking whatever, right? Okay? And you can email me, horisumi@authentink.com. I reply to every email. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching.